Dude.
Come on, Hobo Joe.
Alright. Here. I'm coming. And I'm here. Hey there.
Hey, you ready to record?
Record, right? Okay. Yeah, fine.
Let's go.
Ow!
Ow!
You hit into me and it hurt.
No!
Wait, where's my body? My body, my
Here,
head.
heads up.
Oh, thank you. Here. Let me give you a hand or an arm or both.
Thank you.
Alright.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the Two of a Bunch podcast.
I'm Lily.
And I'm Joaquin and enjoy the show. Hey guys, welcome back to the Two of a Bunch podcast. I'm Joaquin.
I'm Lily.
There she is. And it has been a while since we recorded, 2 years to be exact.
But that's okay.
Because we still love you. She still laughs. Yes, got that one right this time. So, yeah, it's been
Quite some time, but
Quite
that's
some
okay. Because we're going to get on the roll now.
Yep. So, the episode that we have thought up from our genius brains is an episode about the topic of...
Oh, I thought you were going to press the
It's fine.
thing.
It's fine.
PBS Kids, the history from all the way from 1970s to now.
Now. And truly, PBS Kids, of course, ever since the 70s, have been in a lot of children's lives. And not as PBS Kids, as many different names, run by different corporations, funded by different corporations. Over the past years, have been just having different shows on, streaming them. It is a different aspect through the years.
Types of different memories and
Different
television
shows.
shows. Exactly.
Different ways they were written, different what they teached in it. This will all be covered in a good amount of time. Unlike our last video, which was half your day of recording these at least. So how should we start off this video, Lily?
Well, I think we should talk about first that we're not biased. We've seen a lot of the videos off PBS Kids television shows, and people are so biased because it's really, when it comes to children's television, it's really about the nostalgia. It's more about how it made you feel, the memories you have of watching the show. So many people, if they were born in the 80s, remember those shows, and then any show that was made in 2000s, they kind of look down upon because it's not the same thing.
Because they grew. But we're not saying all bad. Oh, you know.
Yeah. And it really depends on the era that these shows were made. Like, in the 80s, the shows were okay. They were okay. Some of them were really, really good. Some of them were just...
A lot of the shows were inappropriate, but that's another episode.
Well, that's PBS Kids. PBS Kids was never really inappropriate into these these 2020.
Wait, what? Kids shows being inappropriate? Well, you're about to see how it is.
The 2000s, when we were born, I feel like the best ones came out.
The best.
The
2000,
best.
2015, and like in between that sandwich
Yeah.
shit, you got a great sub like around there.
Now, we'll give it about like 2018 to 2024 day and age. The shows are either a hit or a miss. They're either pretty good. They're now nowhere near as good of a quality as the shows from
Back
2000 or the 80s were. Like, they're nowhere as good. But they're either pretty good, or they're just horrible. They're flops. Like, what did we do?
Like, it's there.
Like, it's there. What did you say that, what's his name said? Oh, Mrs. Doubtfire says about television shows?
Oh, if you don't know who Mrs. Doubtfire is, because you're a little crazy, Robin Williams, yada, yada, yada. His character in the movie, Mrs. Doubtfire, said that a kid's show should be something that you'd want to watch. Shows
And
now, it's like...
without being inappropriate. He didn't say that part, but there's a scene where they're trying to film smoking in the show. And he's like, that's not for kids. Why are we supporting that? So it's something that you would want to watch.
That's good for kids.
That's good for kids.
Bluey being one of those. Just throwing that out
But
there.
not PBS Kids. It's not a PBS
Probably for a
show.
good reason. Because we're about to get into that. But let's get back on track
Yeah.
and get to the history. PBS Kids. Yeah.
So, should I start it?
Sure. Started in the 70s.
So, in the 70s, there was a network, a channel called NET Playhouse. Well, the show was Playhouse, but it was NET,
NET.
National Education. I always forget the T.
Had a T.
T. But that was the original thing for all educational things for the adults and kids. Then NET was starting to lose funding and it wasn't doing very well. So they tried PBS. PBS started not doing well. It wasn't doing well. However, Fred Rogers, who was featured on NET, came and he convinced the people funding PBS to start funding them more. That children needed educational TV shows that were for them, that were tailored to them, and that they needed to start making these shows for kids. For those who don't recognize the name Fred Rogers, he's the man that made the show Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Just in case.
What?
For a second, I was like, who's Fred Rogers? And I was like, oh, duh. Duh. So shows like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Sesame Street, I think it was Electric Company.
The
were
original
on NET.
Electric Company.
Yeah, the original. Well, on NET, but then they were put on PBS. They started getting more funding, and they were doing pretty good for a while. After a while, though, they added more shows, of course. However, Nick Jr. and Noggin were starting to become quite a competition. And they just needed more funding. And they would have to cancel certain TV shows, and it was kind of a wreck for anybody having a business or trying to. But about 1994, was quite a gap from the 1970s, the Ready to Learn grant was given to PBS. This is its fault.
Yes, it was.
Given to PBS. And they helped fund lots of different television shows, especially ones that were going not out of business, but they were going to be canceled.
Needed more funding, like Caillou.
Well, no, Caillou was like 2000.
Oh, right. I'm mixing up something.
Like Reading Rainbow. Reading Rainbow, I love Reading Rainbow.
Yes.
It doesn't love Reading Rainbow. But
Those
they
who
were
fell asleep watching it, throwing it out there.
many shows like that were being canceled. And Reading Rainbow was being canceled because first the books they were reading were being copyrighted, and reading the books was too expensive because they had very famous people reading books like Morton Short.
Also,
Wayne Brady.
No, not Wayne Brady.
Wayne Brady was reading.
The funding.
The funding was a big deal. No, that was later, but I'll get there.
Okay,
So the Ready to Learn Act was helping a lot of these old shows being able to continue being aired. That was the word. But then they were trying to find different ways to advertise PBS. So 1994, they came up with PTV. And their mascots were the P-Pals, which basically looked like the PBS sign.
But just
with
like,
faces and stuff.
faces
They're
and
just the
things.
P. And then with a little face. And they would do little
Legs.
fun stuff and like be silly.
And they introduce the next
show,
The
yep.
next show.
But they were trying to like get more viewers again. So 1996, they came up with the game, which was a really cool stop motion where it looked like you were playing with a game, and then they would introduce the new show. This is where you landed on. Oh, you landed on Reading Rainbow. You landed on Arthur. And then that episode would come up.
Stop motions are good, including the intro. That was stop motion. But also a lot of shows that are stop motion. I'm not going to get into that. Different episode. But I had a point. Yes.
The ADHD brain.
ADHD brain. But another thing with the game was that
It took a lot of time.
it took a lot of time, including that they reused, of course, some old things. Not going to make a new thing for every single thing.
Right.
But taken from someone who does stop motion a lot.
Yeah.
For 30 seconds is like 3 hours of slightly moving a person.
And they were doing it with clay, which isn't as sturdy
It's a little
as...
easier to move, but it's a lot harder to keep up.
Yeah, not everything was clay. They had real dice and stuff like that. It's crazy. But
Lot
of
of
course,
detail.
such things with such love and like care take a lot of money. It's a lot of money. So by September 6th, 1999, they came up with Dash, which is what everybody basically knows as the logo of PBS
Until
up
2 years ago.
until 2022, but we'll get there. So 1999, they create Dash as their logo. And he would do silly things or turn into animals or crazy
Pull a lever.
experiments. Just crazy things until the next show came on and he would be the host of PBS.
And then his sister, whoa. That's like a
His
huge,
sister Dot
huge-
would also help.
Sister Dot.
But during this phase of transitioning to Dash, again, PBS wasn't doing too well, including because Noggin has started doing really well.
Including a lot of good Noggin shows came out, like 2010 to 1999. Backyardigans, I think.
There are tons, but we don't remember them.
That's a
off
different
the top of
episode
my
again.
Actually, we should do an episode later on about Noggin.
Oh.
I know.
Preview, guys. Watch out.
But because Noggin was doing so well, they tried to come up with different things, such as Sprout, which was basically from preschool to like 7 years old,
And PBS Kids Go.
which is about 7 to 13. These are the type of shows they tried to, what's the word? I guess air. But
There for the
they would
different
put
ages.
3 to 7 for early in the morning because you would assume those are the kids that are still not going to school. 7 to 13 during the afternoon, so the kids that came home from school would have something to watch, more tailored to their age groups.
But
This wasn't doing too well because of PBS Kids Go. Because it
Mm.
was so like Noggin's thing, N. It was literally just called N. And it was a hand.
with an N. So that was
But
awkward
because it was
for
first,
everybody. Oh, look at that.
because it was first, PBS Kids Go wasn't doing too great. But 2001, PBS was given another grant. And it was called the No Child Left Behind grant.
Here we go.
George W. Bush gave it. And
Yes, he did.
besides what happened with PBS Kids, many shows like Reading Rainbow were canceled because they didn't teach things like phonics or vocabulary. So they started creating shows like Electric Company,
The newer
2008
stuff.
version.
Super Y.
Super Y, shows like that would help.
Word World.
World. Great. No, that song's going to be stuck in my head.
Take your feet, clap your hands there.
So
That was awkward.
they created shows like that so that they would, be able to continue being given this money. Now, the only problem is that Noggin is still doing so well during this 2000 age that it doesn't.
They're going down too.
Well, now Noggin is, but at
That's
this
another
time,
episode.
At this time, they were doing really well. So they needed to figure out different ways to do things. At one point, NBC, around 2005, maybe 2008, around that gap, NBC buys many of PBS Kids' shows, especially the Sprout channel, and they created the Sunny Side Up show and the Goodnight show, which I remember watching the Sunny Side Up show. It was so cute. But this is what they created. And then along the lines of creating this,
In between the lions.
that was early 2000s.
No.
That's another PBS Kids show, just in case.
We'll get there. Don't worry about it.
They were still losing money. So this lady that had bought the PBS Kids shows from NBC,
Yeah, I was right.
NBC had decided to lay off tons of workers from PBS Kids. And then
I'd have
she
thought I'm gonna keep to
canceled
myself.
Sprout, like maybe a year afterwards.
Man.
And then
Sprout.
about 3 years afterwards, they stopped doing PBS Kids. And now I don't think PBS Kids is even doing channel anymore. Like on
Really?
television. It's got its own app, pbskids.org, but it's not the same. It's not the same. And
Not the
many
same.
of the shows that they created are not on there. Like anything, I would say like anything from 2008 and downwards, not on there, except for
But-
Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
And Sesame Street.
No, but it's the newer stuff of Sesame Street.
Blech. There's a lot that is missing. Peep in the Big Wide World. It's one of my personal favorite. That was 2010, I think, actually.
Maybe, yeah.
That was one of my. That's still one of my personal favorite shows, and they got rid of that. There's Electric Company 2008.
It's basically whatever they're not making anymore.
Yeah.
Anything they're not making is
Soon
not
enough,
on there.
Arthur will probably leave too.
I don't know. Arthur's such a favorite that I don't think, even though they finished making the show, like they've decided that the show is done,
Probably
I don't think they're gonna take it off.
Because
There's-
adults say something, and when they say "day forever," they just mean a really long time.
It's just been a really long time. But you can see through the years that PBS Kids shows start to basically just become less good. How do you say that professionally? Just they've just started degrading in value.
Like an old sock.
The 80s shows were kind of like ridiculous, but it was the 80s. I mean, it was the
You
80s.
probably thought it was the coolest hip thing there because of what you were raised with. What is normal to you
But
will be normal for you for always.
true, but it did have good value. It did have good quality. You could tell these shows, or most of them, were made with care. It's just, it was like they actually cared about what they were investing into the children.
That's very true.
Then I feel I'll never say that it's not. The early 2000s had the best. I'm trying to remember the most.
Shows.
No, I don't remember. Electric Company.
Curious George.
Curious George was a little earlier than that. It was about no, wait, you're right, because they didn't have anything for Curious George when Matt was born, which was 2000s. So yeah, Curious George. Just wish I had a list off my hand. This is why. Yeah, that's why you write things on your hands, guys. Just People in the Big Wide World, Martha Speaks, Word Girl. See, now they're coming to me. And all these shows were made 2000. But many of those shows were good. 80s were good. And then now it's just...
Again, it's just not good.
There's like the 2015, which is like Pig Plus Cat. I don't remember more shows. I love
Daniel
Pig Plus
Tiger's
Cat.
Neighborhood.
Pig Plus Cat. I think it was 2000s. One thing that we were talking about with people being biased is that early in the episode is that they would say if you grew up watching Reading Rainbow, the original Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood,
Those are the greatest things for you.
Yeah, those are the greatest shows, and no other show after that was good.
But now, good
like
shows.
Pig Plus Cat, the newer Electric Company, which I watched the older Electric Company. It was not good. It was not good.
I've tasted better. I've tasted worse. On your forger.
The newer Electric Company was way better. The acting wasn't great,
Their acting wasn't way better.
but the songs were good.
There's some
The-
good actors
I-
on the Electric Company.
Some, sometimes.
Sometimes.
They had
Ken and Thompson.
Ken and
That's
Thompson.
the only ones coming to my head.
Ken and Thompson. I can remember all the famous people like Tiki Barber,
Oh, yeah.
Sherry Shepherd, Whoopi Goldberg.
What?
Yeah, she plays Hector's mom in one short. She goes to the moon by accident.
All right. We got it.
Sorry,
Progress.
we're reliving our memories here. But
You're lucky, get to
it's
age.
very much if you go to the pbskids.org and you look for their mission, they say that they're trying to help provide good education for children, which many of it is, but then they say trying to help children learn how to live in a diverse society, which we do live in a diverse society, but then it's in their agenda that
Now
they're
we are
trying-
in 2019 and over.
about 2018, I'd say. But they're trying to add the agenda little by little. I think we saw most of it 2023 and 2024.
Yeah.
That's
lately.
the most of it.
Scary.
I can't believe they added so much agenda in just 2 years.
Starting off,
It's crazy.
the logo got boring.
Yeah, 2002. they
Dash is
took
now dead.
Dash
He's gone.
off the thing. And it was 2015. I think they got rid of Dash completely.
He's
Maybe
gone.
it was earlier, 2013.
Maybe he's in
And
college.
then they
We don't know.
added Dot's little siblings, the twins,
Dell and
Del and D.
Del and D.
And then now their dot D and Del, but the logo used to be dash.
But now it's
I
just
know, there's no dash.
PBS Kids. There's no more dash
It's not creative.
anywhere.
It's even the P pals were slightly creative. They were slightly creative. Like
It's right there with the hand. It's just PBS Kids.
that's all it is.
At least Spike TV had a spike.
At least Noggin had a hand. It was a hand.
Well, Noggin's hand was a hand or two people holding hands.
True.
The N was just an N, like with an N.
But at least it was something.
It's not.
How did that? The name wasn't creative. And
The network, maybe? The N. Should I be hip and cool? Can you dig
it's
it?
Noggin, but with an N. There's two N's, but whatever.
Get it.
But it's sad because especially with the shows that we started watching because of our younger siblings. Like, you're 14, about that age.
Oh, yeah, I am 14.
So we stopped watching PBS Kids is about 13 and younger. However, when we're watching with our siblings all the stuff that they grew up watching, they had some really good stuff like Odd Squad. Daniel Tiger is still pretty good. It's
Martha
for very little kids.
Speaks.
Martha Speaks, Curious George. Well, that was our
Wildcrats.
age. That was our age. Wildcrats, Cyber Chase. That was our age also.
Oh, Wild Cheese gets agenda too. I gotta get into that
Yep.
part. We're about to get.
It's just anything new, they're being very careful about. I don't think I've seen anything new with agenda in it. Like Rosie Rules, Alma's Way. I can't think of one show that's new that they put agenda in.
Yeah.
Oh, Work It Out
Newer.
Wombats. Work It Out Wombats is agenda.
But it was interesting. Most interesting garbage I've ever tasted. It was.
interesting garbage.
It was.
Actually, that show overall is just trash.
It
But
was.
we'll get there. But
I can't put into words how bad that show was.
it's just disappointing. So like the
That's
shows
it.
that Jojo and I grew up watching, and we'll say like Luna and Vita grew up watching,
Our
which is
younger siblings.
the ones right under us. They were good. Like Curious George was really good, but now all the new episodes of Curious George, the characters are out of character.
George walks on his feet most of the time.
George usually walks on his feet most of the time.
No, 2 feet. Like, he runs and walks when he.
Oh, that's a good point. Whenever he had to run, he would run on all fours.
Now it's a human stuck in an ape's body.
Oh, he is not an ape.
Oh, you're right.
That's important. Everybody always complains how George is a
Nowadays.
monkey. Why doesn't he have a tail? FYI, there are many different species of monkeys, and many don't have tails. Like the Siamese monkey, which is the closest to
Kombuchan
humans.
monkey. No, they have tails. I'm so sorry. I just lied to you all.
The Siamese monkey.
You
doesn't
better
have a
hope that
tail.
he was just like Goku and lost his tail. So he's still a monkey. He just doesn't have a tail. But no,
He doesn't have a tail. It's not a
he-
monkey.
even if it has a monkey kind of shape, if it doesn't have a tail, it's not a monkey. If it doesn't have a tail, it's not a monkey. It's an.
That zoo person lied. It's a lie. But
What? Oh, we just explained it. Yeah. Now it's like out of context. It's just now.
he's still a monkey.
It's no
But
bueno.
now Curious George is. So in the original shows, if you haven't watched them,
If you're weird.
if you don't have kids or younger siblings, the man in the yellow hat, George's best friend, was good at basically everything. And it wasn't like
Want me to name it? It's crazy. He's
crazy.
climb a mountain, has a mountain named after him.
Mhm.
He can ride a horse.
he runs in marathons.
He runs marathons.
And what I like is that not that he's the most incredible, he can do everything. He's perfect at everything.
like he's good.
Like in
at
the
everything.
marathon, usually there's like 500 people. He came in 17th place, which obviously isn't winning. It's not even second place. But that means you have to have really good cardio to get in 17th
Also means you're
place.
16th loser.
But he was good at everything, not to an over extent where like this guy can
Bowling.
do everything. He's perfect at everything, really. But like it's an idea that makes sense.
Now he did get nervous and he said, wait,
He would get nervous.
George
he
will
might
play with
get
the hat.
frazzled, especially when he thought he was going to be talking to people who had super high IQs or were very smart, or he thought he should definitely respect. It would
Or
make
his
him very-
hands were taped up because of poison ivy, so he had to tape spoons and pens to it so he can do stuff.
You have very hairy arms. It was a good episode.
Really hairy arms.
It's incredible. But anyhow. But now he's just like a dork. Like
Yeah, he's just awkward.
he's just an awkward dork. One of the other shows that they ruined and we used to watch is Cyber Chase.
Cyber Chase.
We're moving.
That was math. Now it seems it's so I want to
It's like math is still in the show.
barely.
But it's all about the ecosystem now. And how we're
Hackers trying to run the
destroying it.
space, and how he's just trying to, he's just ruining the ecosystem, and I'm getting mad. I'm trying not to freak out here. This is me calm.
If you don't know Cyber Chase, it's 3 kids. They get sucked into a computer, and in the computer world, they have to help save the day because Hacker, the bad guy, is trying to destroy Motherboard.
That is your mother goose.
He's trying to destroy Motherboard so that
She's a
because
bad.
Motherboard is but Motherboard is the person that kind of like protects everybody, and so the whole series at our age was about him trying to destroy and get rid of Motherboard so he can rule the galaxy. But now it's just like he destroys the ecosystem.
For his selfish desires.
Like that doesn't make sense. This
is eco chase.
Are you going to destroy the ecosystem so you have them tricked, and then you can go behind their back and destroy Motherboard? If so, this makes sense, but it's not.
It's now every new episode. I tried to watch it with the 3. I'm getting mad now. The 3 little siblings, and I didn't notice it. I didn't know at the time because I don't like PBS Kids app because they don't have a lot of good ones. I'm getting sidetracked. And I didn't know they made new Cyber Chase, so I tried to watch it with them. And the first one was like an eco thing. I'm like, okay. So you watch the second one, literally the same picture.
The same storyline?
The same no, basically Hacker was trying to do something. First one was water.
Yeah, so it's the same storyline.
And the second
Just
one's with
different-
bats and animals. It's just like he's just trying to find a place to like lounge or be at now. And all of a sudden, like he's ruining the ecosystem.
And just honestly, that's what they've done with many of our TV shows now. Like
not only with ecosystem, though, with a bunch of different agendas.
Exactly, like Odd Squad. Like we love Odd Squad. Odd Squad is the best.
Yes. Well, it's not
It's
the best.
it's the best if you watch it from anywhere
From the first Otto and Olive to
20 to 20. No, wait, I'm trying to think of the date. 2022 is what I meant to say. Back to when the show started. Everything afterwards is okay because the show it's kids comedy, so it's kind of corny, they're a little bit extra, but that's kind of the joke. It's odd, like duh.
Yeah.
And then
That
the
show's weird.
second people come in because it's first
Otto and Olive.
Otto and Olive.
Otis and
then
Olympia.
Otis and Olympia, and Olympia
Yeah, she's
is a little
weird.
extra, but that's kind of the joke. She's the very extra character, and her partner is a really calm guy that kind of like balances the two out. And then it was
Like a whole group. I don't remember their names.
No.
I never cared to.
everyone in Odd Squad starts with an O, which means that they get weird Greek names.
I said that one guy, but we're gonna talk about him. His name's let's call it
Bradley.
Steve.
Steve.
But it's like now they travel around in a van, which is cool and he's so honest around the world.
But then, so they get rid of certain characters because obviously Odd
older.
Squad works that all the kids
Only kids.
and only kids solve these crimes of oddness. So of course, the show started like 2018. Everybody's getting older. You can't use the same actors.
The original myself for the past 2 gens of
She was
oh
tiny.
God, she was small,
now
but now
she's
she's like
so tall.
16 and now she's gone. Like she got rid of her.
So obviously you have to get rid of these old characters because it just
They're old
and if you kept them, that would be hypocritical to
and freaky.
and contradict everything that we've said
And would be
prior
freaky.
to the older television shows. So they bring in new characters, and they're very extra. Like anything new is incredibly extra.
Except Bluey.
Bluey is extra, but everybody else is not. But yeah, they're incredibly
Did you hear what
extra.
you just said?
Bluey herself, I mean, not the
Oh,
show. I meant
funny, though.
Bluey, the character.
That's just her. Oh, she's mad. I guess I tried to.
We should do an episode of just about how incredible Bluey is.
You're awkward.
But it gets extra.
Got it. Sorry. It gets extra.
Yes, it gets like too extra.
But the extra wasn't the problem. That's the least of our concerns.
Yeah, because it's Odd Squad. Like, it's funny. But then
Funny extra.
they get rid of
I'm mad, let
certain
me do it.
characters. You know, they get rid of certain characters again because everybody's getting older and people take different places and everybody's kind of different now. And only certain characters are the same.
Yes.
But now they're doing certain episodes where they go around and they help people, of course.
But in a van, it's like a group of 4 now, and it's a very good idea.
Yeah. And it started with these 4 basic characters. One that was like stuck in time and still stuck in time, and
Kind of. She's now
yeah.
out, but now she's still adapting to this world.
the like electronics and the newest best bands. Of course,
You
there are
know
bands,
who
but-
is the only Odd Squad character around besides like side characters? Like Delivery Debbie, she's still around.
Is she?
Yeah, she's still around. What's his name?
Delivery
The boy band.
Oh, I almost said 14 scene.
What gross.
I know.
We're never gonna get into that. Shut up. No.
I can't remember the band's name.
Soundtrack.
Out of the blue. Wait, now that
Soundtrack.
song's gonna be stuck in my head.
Coach Brian, they're still there.
Coach Brian is still in the show.
Yeah, he's old though.
I bet.
The only character that still is there is Angel. What's her name? The one that always called everyone was Sherman.
Oh,
But now she's serious.
that's funny.
Like she's demanding. She expects the van and
Sherman.
everything.
She's always been a jerk though.
Yeah, but she still is like this and everything has to be like she's like
Perfect.
different.
She's
It's
a
very funny.
leader.
It's very funny.
Yeah.
She now expects certain Odd Squad places.
You would get it if you watched it.
You could get it if you just watched the show. You could try. Try and try.
But basically, even in the van,
It wasn't too bad.
they had to get rid of the main character to stay throughout all the seasons, Miss O, who was played by Malia Davis. And she was really little, but now she's like 16, and you can't keep somebody that old in the
She's
show.
old and wrinkled by that.
She'll be old and wrinkly. But so to get rid of her, they took one of the characters from the van and they made her the new boss
And they took some other side kid,
and put him into
put her in.
her. You're right,
Fit
her
her
into
in.
the show.
Tiny little Asian.
And now they're still in
That's
their
fine.
van, and they're still solving crimes like they usually do.
And still go
or
around the world.
oddness. But then there's an episode that they recently just made, like maybe a month or 2 ago. That's recently for us, where they're trying to stop oddness from happening because it's like they were
This
given.
guy's drinking monuments, and he's taking them.
Yes, and they're trying to figure out which ones before it happens so that they can stop it. However, there's a scene in one of these episodes where these 2 ladies are gonna get married. And like why did we need that?
We didn't. That's why they
We-
added it.
Exactly. So anything that was
And they
old-
helped him. Even though it get worse, they helped him get married.
No, it's not even worse. What's worse about them helping is that you lingered this scene on purpose to make it an ingrained memory. 'Cause you
and
could be like,
normalized it.
it's but if you see
Disgusting.
like and then you kind of forget if you just like they're getting married and then you kind of just move on. But no, to make sure you remember that like our officiators in here and the flower girl isn't on time and what was the third thing?
Musician.
Oh, the musician.
They still
So
act like women,
they
which is a little
clean her-
weird.
The woman. Anyhow, not the
Yeah,
point.
that's the thing.
So
They're also lesbians now too.
the boy and the girl, the boy helps clean the dresses off to make sure they're nice and pretty.
Oh my god.
The girl plays music. The boy and girl are both the flower girls.
One second. What?
You didn't see that?
I got nauseous.
No, so she comes in with the flowers, right? But he's also helping with the flowers, which makes him a flower girl.
I'm so mad right now.
And then the boy
you can't tell, though, I'm doing
officiates
really
the
good.
the boy officiates the wedding. But that's
That's disgusting. It's
they
disgusting.
linger till we remember, so that you take away the lesson of it's okay, it's normal. They were very happy, and it's something we should support. It's not.
Unless you guys didn't notice,
It's really not.
it's weird.
If you want to have the 2 daddy scenario in a TV show, it's fine. Whatever
No.
you want. It's not fine. It's a sin. But I'm saying for adults, they can choose to say no. They can go no.
Kids
for
don't
kids,
know.
And the show's like a 10
And having
year old
little
show.
kids, not all little
they
kids are allowed to
can't
touch the remote
decide.
and change it.
That's true too.
They had to say there saying, "Oh, mommy put this on," without mommy knowing what's in it. Oh, this must be fine. It goes into their head that mommy would never steer me wrong. Mommy must put this on because it's good. So they watch it and they grow up normalized with this
Agenda.
this derogatory, and it gets you mad inside.
If it bothers
doesn't make
you,
your heart very happy.
It's not something we should support ever, but especially not in children's shows, because they don't have the capability of being able to realize why something is wrong.
Like Work It Out, Wombat.
That's a newer show, but we'll get along to that. So basically, all the shows we grew up watching, they're either the value of the show, the like, oh, that's
Disintegrating.
funny. Oh, this character said that. Oh, this, like, the art was really good. The jokes were funny.
Oh yeah,
I
the art
didn't-
for Curious George deteriorated. It's stiff now.
And they don't treat us like we're dumb.
There's no
The show doesn't
feeling
treat us like we're dumb.
anymore.
Exactly. And most times it contradicts. Like, wait, didn't we say this? I know it was 8 seasons ago.
But you
didn't
still said it.
Yeah.
Y'all still said it. Y'all be a little confused right here. Like those
And
two
more than
mommies
one
right
way.
there. Like,
But seriously. So all the shows that we grew up watching are degrading in value.
like an old
And
person's
the
teeth.
newer shows are just not made with the same
Passion.
passion that our shows were made with.
Like
The same-
Molly of Denali.
Molly of Denali wasn't bad.
It wasn't good either.
No, because the problem with Molly of Denali, they put it in one episode. So you got to be like, oh, same thing with Odd Squad, actually, if you think about it. It was the one episode.
Probably more.
Eventually, I'm sure. But how is that not odd? Why didn't they?
We gotta solve this. Which one is you? We gotta turn back to a dudenator right here. Which one? Which
I think that if they're both women, Joe,
what?
I think that the option is to stop them and convince them.
I got a
otherwise.
messed up idea.
No, no.
Okay.
After. When we're not on camera. We've said too much for YouTube. Anyhow. It's just, so Molly of Denali is a good show, but then they're very, so the show is in Alaska. And
Alaskan
they're
Pride,
Indians,
which is good.
Native and Indians of Alaska.
Eskimos.
And they still believe lots of the old, magic and rituals of Alaska.
Which is
Which
fun.
was, I mean, I
No
guess,
way.
not really,
For
because God is the
culture.
one and only true God. But
Amen. I'm being respectful.
But I agree. But then they have an episode where the grandparents went to California to get education when they were younger, and then they had to leave the school because they hated them for their religion, and they weren't free
change
to
them if we can't be the way that
we want to be.
wanna
We need to leave, and we're like, no.
You're American now. We never try to. Well, we did try to.
We did
Back
try.
then, try to push it on. But if you're up there in
they're the
America,
grandparents. They're the grandparents, so yes, but nobody treats you this way anymore. You're free. It's Alaska. You're living in Alaska now.
like you're living in Alaska.
Why-
That's
why does it-
great. Like
Certain things,
I have seen no.
just because all
TVs
things are tolerable doesn't mean all things are good.
Wait a minute.
And if you can tolerate something, then it's the world we live in. Many of the things we have to tolerate, but it doesn't mean we should force it onto people. And that's basically what they were acting like. Like, we were trying to force it onto them, but then they got angry at us.
Like
But they shouldn't be allowed to get angry
know
at
what?
us because it's just how
I
we live.
just realized
But you
something.
were forcing them.
I just realized something.
What?
And the newer stuff, as we said, they're adding homosexuals and
To daddy's
to daddy families and stuff.
No,
How
we have to call-
this is how we live in a diverse society. Yet no kid on this block is homeschooled. A lot of kids now are becoming homeschooled.
That's a good point.
None of them are homeschooled, and it's because
Relax.
Um,
he got hated. But he's right. That's a good point. Like, that's the one thing they've always thought about. You're trying to make it more relatable to children. Okay, the two daddy scenario, the kids are unlike
it's
the
not
color.
needed.
It's not needed. But also, if you're really trying to make it more relatable, tons of kids are being homeschooled now. Tons of people are Christians. Like, homeschooled and Christian are never in the scenario. Like,
Almost like they don't like us.
I would say a little bit more than
Yeah.
almost, but yeah. It's just, it's very sad. It's
Very sad. Very sad. Yeah.
But you could see even with the grants, when they had the learning to ready to learn grant, they were allowed to make good content about when they got help me Mickey Chan. The No Child Left Behind grant, they had to stop some really good shows because they didn't make the proper content. Not that I didn't love Superwide, not that I didn't love Electric Company, but it's about who's funding you and how they're funding you.
Another show that
what they want you
deteriorated
to
from
support.
Worth
What?
is Superwhy.
Oh yeah, it's just trash now.
They got rid of the pig.
They get rid of a pig and then the colored girl, and I have to say colored because
You can't say the alternative. But
YouTube is
they
just
already
mean.
had one. They have Princess P, who was a colored character, and then they get rid of my personal favorite because he was a pig.
He's so cute. And again, it's just like, oh, and all the characters were fairy tale characters. What is this little girl? We have no idea what she is.
Well, Superwhy isn't either, but
Superwhite, that's the point.
he's the main character.
He lives in this special world, and he can come to our world, and he can go to their world. But there was Little Red Riding Hood.
Yeah.
Princess Peach was a princess.
On the P.
Slept on a pea. And the pig was, did he build his house out of sticks or bricks?
We don't know. All we know is
built
he has
one of
two
his-
older brothers.
Yeah, and he's one of the 3 little pigs.
Well,
Who is this
a little pig
colored
and
girl?
mature one.
What does she do? Who is she in the land of fairy tale?
Can't be Goldilocks. I mean,
I mean, they're changing everybody's color now. I mean,
well, she doesn't have Goldilocks.
good point.
I have a hypothesis. Maybe that won't work. Okay.
No. But all the shows are losing their value, and what made the shows great. Because one big thing, and that every kid can tell, I would say until you're like 6, you can't really tell, but once you're older than 6, you can. It's about how they talk to us, and they treat us like we're dumb.
Yeah.
It's hurtful.
When you get smarter, you realize you were dumb down.
Because like we're 16 and like 14, about those ages. So of course we are gonna feel dumb watching a little child's television show, but the younger children we've heard say, why are they talking to me like that? Like why do they say that? Why didn't just say this? So younger children are really smart. It's almost like they're trying to dumb kids down instead of helping them.
You didn't realize with school?
Ha ha ha.
I'm being dead honest. They don't teach phonics anymore.
No. They do teach phonics.
They don't teach
sight words.
sight words.
Wait,
They
I might
only
be
teach sight
confusing
words. They only teach sight words now. Like every word now is a sight word.
So confused.
Now that cat, you had to remember you can't. That's phonics.
Oh,
That's not in school anymore.
They only teach sight words.
That's the problem. I've seen people spell money
used
with
to
an E
teach
at the end.
Reading using the Bible, and they didn't have NLTs. They had New King James. Did they even have New King James?
No, I think they just had King James.
Anybody who's
The
read
one
those,
that talketh like this is the whole list booketh.
it's hard. It's hard to read those books, but that's how they taught
Indeedeth.
kids to read, which means that you had to have a pretty
And
good
the way that
IQ before you could read.
our grammar went down, like everyone used to say absolutely or even just indeed for saying yes, but now we just say yes, which is okay.
Not that yes.
Then we
is-
said
yeah.
okay, and now we just say K.
K.
You K?
K.
Y'all K?
I'm not K.
Not are you okay? No, you K?
You're K. That's lazy.
You K?
But that's how
England,
they're
yes.
making all our TV shows now. Just like we're dumb, that they don't care about the show, and it's like they're trying to get by on little funding. That's what that is. But if you put more quality into your TV
You will get
show,
more funding.
more people would care. More people would watch. I don't feel like Noggin's ever deteriorated from good stuff.
Oh, it's getting there.
No, Nick Jr. and
Oh.
Nickelodeon are bad. Noggin, I don't think so.
Remember
Actually,
Oswald the
has not-
Octopus? I don't know.
Oh,
anymore.
it was so cute. But the newer shows are just, it's missing something. Like, they've got some really good shows, like Lila and the Loop.
It's not bad.
It's not the quality of Curious George or Electric Company or Peep in the Big Boy
or
World.
The Care. But it is a really
It
good
is a
show.
good show. It's got a great idea. It basically teaches
Kids to be more specific and explain something more fluidly. Like, get in the
Totally.
car, open the door, push the button.
No, it's more like almost like don't expect people to know what you're trying to say. Learn how to articulate so that people understand you, which is a great thing to learn. The only problem I have with Lilo and the Loop is that the animation is. Well, I have two problems, I guess. The animation isn't too great, and the parents are very extra, which is usually most characters.
I have a problem too.
So
They're
extra.
obsessed with pickles for some reason. They put pickles in everything.
That's just
Kinda
funny.
Deteriorates the worth of pickles in my life.
That's a good show, but like
Not bad.
there's Work It Out Wombats now, and it was cute. There's 3 little wombats, but
Maybe with their
we'll
Nana
get
Wombat.
to the agenda. We'll get to the agenda in a second. There's a point where the show itself can't even be good
Yeah.
because the
Like
main
JJ the
there's
jet
a,
plane.
JJ the jet plane was not bad.
Wasn't good either.
Anyhow, no, the show is just bad because the animation again not too great. The youngest child whines non-ending. This is why they have
Luna
to change
has to
Caillou.
messed up with the thoughts of that kid. She's like, why don't I just spank him? I'm like, because it's a PBS Kids show. They should take him out of scene and spank him. The creator should pull him off the page and just spank him and put him right back on. I'm like, that's a little messed up. She's erase him. Woo! You learned your lesson yet? I was like, okay.
That girl's crazy.
She's great though.
But like he whining. But this character, he constantly whines. The characters don't have much like thought. It's just it's very disappointing.
Under demystiating.
Undemystiating. Wait, what did demystiating mean?
Oh, should I meant underappreciated.
Underappreciated.
It's under.
Never mind. We'll remember later. But that's just one part of the show. Another with the agenda is that these 2 kangaroos, both ladies, are married. And that they have adopted, 3 crabs and...
I hope that were their kids.
I don't remember. They adopted at least 4 kids, all
Maybe.
different species. But why did it have to be 2 moms? Why? Actually, you know what's another good point?
What?
I don't think I've seen many adopt children not from, 2 moms
Wow.
scenario.
Yeah, like a normal parent adopting a kid.
I can't
There's
think of...
only one thing I could think of that I've ever watched or read with a kid being adopted.
What?
Well, 2.
I mean
there's
for like
one.
little kids. I'm not talking about like older people.
Oh, the never
stuff.
mind. I was about to bring up Spy Family. Forget that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But like
Got awkward.
I know like I have the feeling like I've seen it somewhere. I just can't think of where. But like again, like you're trying to make it more of like a diverse society, and you don't think something
So
like
all
that
these
is
shows,
important.
it's the same thing.
True, it's the same thing. in
Diverse
every
thing.
show.
You have it here, and then it's here, then it's here, then it's here, over there, but it's still
Wait,
there.
The reboot of Clifford has the 2 daddy scenario. Wait, I don't think they're dads. I think you just can tell they're dating.
I
Anyhow,
don't care. I'm just mad. The
It-
old Clifford was so good, and the animals didn't need to communicate with the humans before.
no, but this is what you're a little biased on that. So now I am.
What?
I'll get there. So Clifford, if you remember the original, Clifford couldn't talk to other people. He could only talk to his animal friends,
was brought in humor.
which it was funny. But I think for younger children, because the show is meant for younger children, it can be too confusing.
Why
Like,
does only the dogs
Clifford
talk?
just said this. Why don't they listen to him? Because
They're dogs.
can't
That is
talk.
that is a good point.
so I like it that they were able to communicate with each other. I like the music because kids really learn well with music. So I like that they added music.
Oh, I into my hair. Sorry.
I like that they added music, but then you saw an agenda. Like, why was that needed?
That was
And this show was a little extra, and not like good
Oh, yeah.
children extra. Like, this is too much. Like Peg plus Cat was extra, but it was an enjoyable extra. Like the girl would freak out, and then the
I'm
cat would
really
be the cat would
freaking
kind of
out.
I'm freaking out, and then the cat would look at her,
Mm.
and then she'd be like, "Oh, I need to calm down." So it was like the extraness helps kids remember to
Wait, I have a
calm
question.
down.
Was Sprout?
Self-control.
Did Sarah and Duck originate from Sprout?
Maybe I think that's where I first saw Sarah and Duck. Sarah and Duck.
That sounds so simple, so
All
good.
shows like that are no longer on PBS Kids, and I think that's because they're not making them anymore. Because Pigpa's Cat was around the same time as
There's
Sarah.
no Thomas the Tank Engine. I don't think there's Thomas
They're not
the
making
Tank.
Thomas the Tank Engine anymore.
Theodore Tugboat. I don't hear anybody talk about Theodore Tugboat.
It was kind of boring. With like the older Thomas the Tank Engine. Thomas the Tank
I
Engine.
liked it. It was funny.
Original stuff was kind of boring.
But I think I know why it was boring.
agree.
There was no music in the background.
That's a good point. Like
Kids
again,
need
the
music to interact. It changes
entertain
the
them.
mood. It gets you scared. It gets you excited due to music.
music.
What
Great, now that song's stuck in my head.
song?
Music hits me so hard, makes me want.
What?
It's stuck in my head now.
Oh, can't touch this.
Yeah, but yeah. So it's
Sad.
wait, where was I? You distracted me.
We were somewhere. Oh, how the diverse.
Yeah, like you're not trying to be diverse. You're trying to push agenda, and that's the reason why, for the sake of diverseness. And some shows do it wrong. It's just wrong. Like Daniel Tiger, even so, it started. I'm gonna say, a little bit of
10,
like
maybe
the late
12?
2000s, around maybe the early 2010 era thing, and they're still making episodes, and that show is still good. There's still quality in the show. Actually, one of the things that we were looking at the other day, we were watching Daniel Tiger, and they covered a lesson that we've never seen in a child's television show. And it's that you don't always have to share. Like, they're always teaching kids. You need to share.
But you don't always have to. It's your special
if it's
thing. You don't have to
yours,
share.
if it's your special thing, then you don't have to share. And looking at it, we're like, wow, I didn't know kids shows taught about that. That's pretty cool.
There's like one show. I think I've heard it in something else. There's only one show that talked about something that no show talks about.
What?
The fatherless pandemic.
Turtle Twins.
Oh, twins. That's a different
They
episode
don't
again.
really talk about that. Oh, I love Turtle Twins. Wait, they gotta put that episode out already. Anyhow, not the point. They haven't put it out yet.
No, they have. It just needs killed now.
Yeah, that's not putting it out.
Okay.
That's the point. It's just Daniel Tiger is a very good show, and one of the topics that they covered.
That's not. You don't need to share. Always.
Yes, but that's not. Like, there's two big things that can cross over into agenda. One of them is the two daddy scenario, and the other one can cross over into agenda, but it's not always an agenda, which is the way that people of color treat each other and how people that look different treat each other badly. And if you do it right, it's not bad.
Do it
Which is
wrong.
what- It's bad. Like,
Bad.
stop. Like,
I'm
but
saying.
Daniel Tiger did it perfectly. There's an episode where they're all gonna take a class picture, and Daniel Tiger realizes, since he's a tiger, he's the only one with the tail for the picture. So he kind of starts acting like a cranky brat. Like
No, he wasn't
starts-
the only tail. It was the cat.
the cat.
It was
So
the
fine,
only tiger,
them-
I think.
No, it was a tail.
I think it was too.
It was. So many of the kids are humans, though, or the owl. I guess you could say the owl has a tail, but
The
not really.
feathers. Which is a tail.
But many of the kids didn't have tails. He started kind of acting mean to everyone for not having a tail for their picture. And the teacher can see that there's something wrong, but he started expressing himself, so she can't really tell. So she goes and she talks to him, and he explains everything to her. And she goes, okay, well, how would you feel if your friend, I don't remember her name, but the girl has always been, her legs have never worked. Her legs are lame. Or do you say
Alright.
they're lame?
They're lame.
Yeah, they're lame.
Not lame, like boring. Again, they're changing words. Lame, like
legs don't work.
Paralyzed and down from the waist
Yes.
down.
She's paralyzed from the waist down. And so she was like, what would you say if one of your friends were bullying her or treating her badly because her legs didn't work? And he like got upset. He was like, well, that would be wrong. That's not her fault. That's just how she was born. And she goes, okay, good. How about if Prince Wednesday was being mean to, what's the little girl who always calls everybody tits?
Other one, Miss
You watched the original show, you would know.
Miss Elena.
Yes, Elaine. Now Elaine is a little colored girl, and Prince Wednesday is a little white boy. So you
Little white
get
boy.
the picture.
We can say white, but we can't see the other one.
Yeah,
Isn't that racism?
you get the idea of judging people for how they look, whether color disability, how they're obviously we don't have tigers walking around.
That'd
But-
be a little freaky.
But
And red sweaters
it's it's wrong.
and trolleys.
It's wrong. And they did it without being excessive. But then you have other television shows that make it like a big thing. Like, I'm a superhero from this place. It's a dick at Marvel. Like, it doesn't need to be done. It doesn't need to be done. Stop it. But if you can do it in a way that's not excessive, because when you make something a big deal, it becomes such a big deal to children. But if you can talk about it without making it this huge issue, then it's good. And some topics should not be talked about on television shows. Some topics are only for an adult conversation with your children. Like, we could say puberty, like, you know.
That's a conversation that you should have.
Not that
with
PBS Kids has done that, but certain Disney movies, we'll say, have done it.
a
And
certain Disney movie.
yeah, I'm sure there's more, but
Probably.
like some stuff does not need to be talked about with children. It doesn't need to be.
Little children.
Especially.
At that.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the point we've come to with PBS Kids. Everything, literally, 2023 to 2024, all the two daddy agenda, and it's not in everything.
Double daddy agenda.
Double daddy. It's not in everything, surprisingly enough, but it's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. But not all bad new shows are bad, as we said before. There's
Island Loop is good.
Newer. It's newer. Is Xavier Riddles and the Secret Museum. Which great hero will we find? They had an episode about Rosa Parks, but it wasn't over the top.
I don't think they get over the top with people of color. I think sometimes with the woman thing, but I think it's only because the youngest girl, Yadina, is so little that she exaggerates her emotions, which is normal for little kids. So I don't think
But
it's.
she only say, "I'm sorry." What was that? Like only
Yeah,
like
she'll
that.
get like, oh, but she's little, so
And
it kind
it'll
of
be
fits.
like that. You're done.
Yeah.
Like when Susie B. Anthony
how-
didn't vote, and the thing
She
I
can't
liked,
vote. There's no girl president. Like,
but the thing when she didn't vote, they're getting everyone together. There was a woman. You saw men in the crowd, so they mentioned
Yeah.
that men was a part of it.
men were a part of helping women be able to vote. I mean,
Which
if you have to vote on this, a woman can't vote. Who's voting for
exactly,
women to be allowed to vote?
it had to be men because women weren't allowed.
I'm gonna talk in this voice for the rest of the episode. If it doesn't make me laugh, no, I already did it. Again, so they can talk about women being treated unfairly or color without getting excessive,
Indeed.
without what's the word?
Overdoing it,
Overdoing it.
or
And-
just trying to push an agenda. Period.
True.
What else is a newer show that
And-
isn't too bad?
Unfortunately, with newer shows, they're not even. It's not only just the agenda. The agenda is like, yeah, we're done. We can't do this anymore. But it's also in the quality that they make the show. Like Rosie Rules,
Isn't bad.
it's a very cute
Isn't
show.
good either.
It's like the first show, well, the second show now, but the first show that I've ever seen with the Hispanic characters actually kind of sound Hispanic.
Yeah,
Like, I was
because
like,
sometimes a lot of the characters who are Hispanic
Talk like they're Americans
they
that are
just
learning
learned
Spanish.
Spanish. I just finished my Bible lesson. Hola, ¿cómo estáis? I mean, Noah. Oh no, Noah was supposed to be a kid learning Spanish
I think, yeah.
because a lot of the characters talk like this, and they actually had talked in Spanish. When he how to sondo auto.
Words. But
at
other
the end of the episode,
shows
you
that
got it.
are not made to be that way, they don't sound like they actually knew Spanish at any point. Ever.
Of their life.
At least in Rosie Rules, they do sound like that. But then again,
And-
a problem with many of the newer shows, they're very extra. It's just characters. All characters in the new TV shows are super feminine. Even if they're a guy, they're very feminine.
Or corny.
Or corny. Usually the guys are corny or feminine. Or just overall completely dorks. Sad. But
Tell me about it. You don't understand. You guys, you're pictured as an 8-foot bodybuilder making sassy remarks.
what?
Avatar?
No, I
Forget it.
don't.
I'm going to talk about you later. That's an Avatar quote.
But basically, I don't remember.
Basically, they're dumbing down
yeah.
men.
Yeah, they treat men like
Like, they're just there.
They're just there.
You're here.
You're here.
Women are here. You are here. How's the weather
like
out there?
The men are not very smart. The women are the ones who put together, and that's not every TV show and not every PBS Kids show. Like Alama's Way, they're just very smart in that show, but it's a little extra. It's a little
bit.
extra.
So that is a little
the,
extra.
The boys are very feminine. The little boys are incredibly feminine.
Because
except
it's
for the
normal
one that's like this one. Yeah.
It's normal.
And actually, in Alma's Way, do they sound Hispanic? I don't remember. They're New York Ricans. I think some of them do.
The grandpa sounds like this. He sounds very Hispanic.
That's like the typical cartoon Hispanic.
He
But
sounds
yeah.
very like this.
So
He's Puerto Rican. And they play
like
dominoes.
Alma's Way is pretty good. Again, feminine. I don't think they're really extra in that show. So that show's pretty good.
Also, it teaches kids how to
also I give
down.
give points for
The theme song.
theme songs.
Theirs isn't bad.
This is pretty good. Alma's Way
From the Bronx.
No, I'm gonna get. It's good. Rosie Rules. It's okay. Theme song's okay.
It's not a bad show. There's a
Characters are
short
very
show.
extra though,
Like,
and
episode's like 4 minutes.
the
It's
show's
called
like-
what's it called?
I don't know. I'll get there.
Okay.
There's one thing I wanted to mention about Rosie Rules. It's her rules, but some of the stuff isn't rules.
Like
Again,
a rule is
dumbing kids
you can't
down.
do this, or if that does that, go do that.
Yeah, but one of the
Or
rules was
Steve
like,
breaks his leg, call him out. That's a rule.
yeah, that's a rule.
Don't
one of the rules was like, if
steal-
Daddy sees yummy cake, we're gonna go get cakes. That's not a rule.
That's not a rule. That's a
it's not
life
like-
choice.
If he sees a cake, we have to go get the cake. That's the rule. That would be a rule. But it's like, Daddy always has to go get a yummy cake. This is just a statement. That is not a rule.
That is yes
Again,
statement.
Yeah, dumbing kids down.
Not
there's
all
a-
of them though. There's some rules that are.
Some
A
of them, okay, yes, that's a rule. Many of the stuff like
Just how they dumb kids
that's
down.
not what this
I'm
is.
really freaking out. It's upsetting.
Pegwell's cat is cute though.
Kinda
Anyhow,
awful.
there's a newer show that they recently made called Tiny Time Travel. And when I heard the name, I thought they would go, because they're like a 3 to 5 minute episode. So I thought they would go back in time to like, I don't know, the Jurassic period or the
That's not a
Renaissance
thing, by the way.
age. It's not, but you get my point because it's PBS Kids. And I thought they would go back in time and learn about the history, but instead, a cool twist of the time travel is that their time traveling machine only goes back a few hours.
Or go a few hours later.
in the
They
future.
said a few that to the future or back feels like a little excessive.
Yeah, it's a little excessive. They don't need to do that, which is, it's funny. But basically, the show teaches not about what I thought, like history. It teaches about how you can approach a situation.
But again, it is a little
Like
extra.
getting to know
It is a little extra.
how to treat people so that you don't have to go back in time and fix your mistake. How to be able to read people. In that show, again, one of the main characters is named Tony, and he actually speaks really good Spanish, and so does the character's mom.
Yes, very. It was
I was
muy
like-
muy impressive.
Like we were like, they sound like they've been speaking Spanish forever. Like
Sounds like English is their second language. That
not
is
that the English was bad,
not the English.
but actually, a critique to the show.
It's a little extra.
To PBS Kids, I highly doubt you ever watch. We
But if
don't
you do.
expect perfect acting. We don't.
We just
kids'
want good
television.
acting.
We want good acting. So if you're watching the show, you could say a con is that the acting is incredible. However, what I would say is a bigger con is that both the boys, the main characters, are incredibly feminine.
Oh yeah.
One has got a great hair. Great hair.
One has like the most greatest hair.
Not the most. Wait, you were just talking about how grammar is degrading.
I know that.
And he's degraded.
I'm an intellectual joker. Like Keith Ledger's Joker.
This. No,
Yeah.
I'm never gonna get that movie stuck out of my head.
What was a good movie?
It was a good movie.
Start with the head. Get some
It was
fuzzy.
fuzzy.
You won't feel the next.
You see?
See?
Stop. Basically,
But it's just like they're feminine. It's degrading. It's not.
like you can have these characters funny,
But they don't need to have to be
and
feminine.
masculine. They don't need to be feminine. It just
A
it just
funny
needs to be
masculine
a
guy is The
thing.
Rock.
The Rock isn't funny.
I know that. That was the joke. Forget it. But like they're just
like in the
degrading
original
in value.
shows, like you might have one character that's feminine, like Electric Company. Most of the characters were very masculine, and then you would have Manny, really big character. I just realized I can't say the other word for big.
What?
You can't. You get in trouble. Anyhow, not the
Y'all are sensitive.
not the people that are currently watching, but if we ever get to a point of many views, y'all
One day.
sensitive. But like,
You're striking.
the character's feminine, but it's not everybody, and that's the character's role to be this character. But now all the men in all the cartoons are feminine, and many of them are dumb. Like in Peg Plus Cat, it's a little kid TV show that's animated, but one of the main characters is super resourceful. And he's a boy, and he's not feminine. Like
he's a cool
super
kid.
resourceful. He's the cool kid. The little girl kind of is the girl in love with
A
him.
little bit, I think.
Is she?
Yeah, a little.
She looks
It's
up
weird.
to him, and sometimes it feels like she's in love with him.
And the Carol
Peg.
design and stuff.
Yeah, but this character is super resourceful, and why can't you have characters like that? If you want one like feminine, silly character, like that's what you find funny, because it's either it's like on the borderline of corny and funny. No, corny and
I don't
feminine.
I like corn. I just don't like corny. I like cheese. Don't like cheesy. Like ham.
But-
Don't like being ham. Is that a good thing?
What? I have no idea what that means.
A ham?
But-
We'll look it up later.
Like, if you want one that's fine, why does every guy in the show have to act like this?
They don't have to be.
Oh, I just thought of a show that's horrible.
What?
You're right. I did say it was a bad show, and I completely forgot.
What?
Superhero show.
Oh.
Superhero
Hero
Academy.
Elementary.
That one. It like
All the girls have the coolest powers, and the two guys got like the suckiest things in the freaking world.
stinking world.
Stinking world.
Anyhow,
It stinks.
again, very feminine characters. Why do we have to
Because
do this? Like one of the
It's
boys
a
is
war
a
on
big
men.
boy, and usually cartoons like making the biggest person the most feminine.
sorry,
Which I
I'm a
guess-
gutless
Yeah, I guess that's
Flip-flopper.
funny, and it
Some-
gives the
but
humor.
it's
Like
too
you expect
done
them to be
too
scary. But like everybody,
It is done too much.
Everybody-
Like Sumo and Legend Hank was big and tough until he was beaten. He became calm, fly like dandelion.
but like this is all the new stuff, and they really just they don't care. It's very sad. It's not worth crying.
There you go.
It was too loud. Anyhow,
Scared you. didn't it?
yeah. But so, if you watching, like from the 80s, you
It was the 80s.
it was the 80s.
It was a new thing to have a big guy be the.
No, but I mean like the quality of the television show was thought about. And so like the Reading Rainbow, they were having problems with cost.
Right.
And to have people read the books was just too much. And it was like you're having people like Martin Short and Wayne Brady,
Ruth
Bill
Buzzy.
Cosby. Like you
Bill Cosby.
I don't like him.
Why
But
was he reading a book, a show
It's
with
a child's
kids?
television show, Joe. Think about it. Anyhow, we won't get farther into that. Famous people. You were having very famous people read books. And you're like, yeah, you're going to be losing money. It's a lot to get somebody like those people on a television show.
Even
But
hard
then
to find them.
It shows how much you care. Did you get people who...
That's why certain
are
kids just
going
has
to
a special guest.
True. But you have a special guest every episode.
Yeah, like
Plus
that's the
Leave
problem.
Our Burden.
Oh yeah.
Like...
That was the fun.
Who doesn't like Leave Our? But anyhow, but it does show how much they cared about their show. You get people who are funny, like Wishbone. Wishbone was hysterical, and it was really sweet, and the
so
dog was
funny.
pretty well trained.
It was literature.
And you can have stuff in a show that's like Electric Company sometimes got corny. Like really, are we the thumb wrestling? This is the big important.
That was
mission of
a
this person's life.
short for
and
the
he's got-
TH.
But that's my point. That's exactly my point.
It's a short.
You can have a little bit of like really, and then the rest of the show be really good.
You want to beat
the
somebody?
The music in that show was so good.
Clinton, it was kind of. It was about
really
the
good.
plot, and the plot was sometimes corny. It was a corny song,
Yeah,
but it was a
sometimes-
good song.
It was a good song, well written. The scenes weren't horrible. So sometimes you
It was
had
so
like
bad,
a
it was
plot that
good.
was corny, but even in all this like silliness, you could still see.
It was a good show.
it was a good show. You could still see the quality of the show. You could still see all the thought that was put into the show.
Back to
But there's none of that now.
your show. Yeah,
There's
like
none of that.
Hero
Like
Elementary.
Working Out Wombats, Hero Elementary.
It's gonna say Hero Elementary because we didn't mention it.
Hero
What is it about?
Elementary. We did.
But we
You
didn't
went-
go into it, including
just
that they try to make the
superheroes.
females look cooler.
They're going.
Did you ever notice that? The boy has bubbles that can be popped
Bubbles.
easily, and the other boy can show you what he's thinking of. That's
Which is
good
cool.
if you work in a company
And he
with
can build
diagraphs.
stuff, and he's very, very smart. But how is
The other chick can
power?
fly.
And teleport. She can fly.
No, that's a
and-
different chick. The different chick, the littlest kid, has
But didn't she
teleportation and
snap?
super strength.
Oh, that's right. Teleportation.
That's the
super
strong. Those are two of the. That's a powerful combination. Like me, who likes and makes superheroes, teleportation and strength. I wanted to give someone teleportation and strength, but I had to dumb it down because it's a little much.
It's like too overpowered.
But
And-
I mean,
but-
no, it's not that it's overpowered. It's
Not
a
really.
good combination. It's just
Yeah.
that for the character of it is, you gotta dumb it down a little bit because how it is, Goku can teleport his men's strength,
Oh, yeah, 'cause there's
but
so
he
many
fights
people using
in
it.
men's world crisis.
Right.
That kid solves problems around the neighborhood.
And she can teleport and have super strength. Why does she need both? Why can't one of the boys that don't have a great power
Get
get one of those? Like the little boy that can invent.
Give him teleportation or something. So he teleports here, grabs that, teleports here, grabs that.
And then in the
teleports here, grabs that.
teleportation, he could, because he can't create a machine to teleport, he would use his powers to do that instead. Or he could use his powers to figure out
Seriously,
how to teleport.
we're not in professions and we're good at that.
It's just, they don't care.
Yeah, they don't.
I'm very sad.
It's sad.
It's sad.
The
So
death of
any
TV.
old show that's still being made is being ruined. And any new show, except for the really, really popular ones, they're not good. They're not good. Like, again, Lilo and Loop was a pretty great show. The animation is great and the parents are an extra. But in this show, you can tell the people care. In fact, if you're paying attention to the show, this little boy has got tons of socks and he's kind of OCD. But the characters,
And he
and
organizes shoelaces.
he organizes
he-
his socks.
His trains
like,
have to be organized.
everything, which is cute.
It's
But
very
if you're paying
OCD.
attention to the socks, one of the socks he has is a Working Out Wombat sock,
Which was funny, which was smart.
which is funny and smart. And it's not like really you're gonna hide that in the background. That's what you're hiding in the background of this television show. Like we
Creepy.
used to watch the show We Bear Bears,
Oh.
and in the background, so they're at the movies, and they have a movie, and it says something cop. I was like, oh, they made a movie for police officers. I want to see what the poster looks like. So I paused the episode so I can get closer because I can't see very well. And as I get closer, there's like 2 to 3 women wearing bikinis. It's a show for like 8 to 13-year-olds. Why
It should be in
First of all-
anything. That's the problem.
that? Second,
I just got really mad. I'm sorry.
why would you have it on a kids' television show? And third of all, why is that hiding in the background?
Fourth of all, why is
And
it
then-
on TV, period?
Okay, but why are you having it in the background? And if you're hiding it in the background, what else have you been hiding?
That's kind of scary. Bluey
Very
has
scary.
a movie scene, and all you see is like 3 movies. A bee one, about a bee standing there heroically.
Yeah,
There's a
but that's-
detective one, and there's 2 dogs like romantically looking. But that's a joke because that's how they make
Yeah.
fun of all that stuff.
But you're willing to hide that. But this is not what Lila and the Loop did. They were like just connecting one of their shows as if these kids are watching it, which is hysterical.
Which is good.
It's really funny. And that's like care in your show.
Putting
That's care.
care in it gives it
Which is why-
value.
Exactly. Lila and
Just
the
stop
Loop.
caring about it. It just deteriorates. It's like you're taking care of a plant.
I feel like
You give the
some
plant care, and it grows. If you stop watering that plant, take it out of the sunlight, it will slowly
die.
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 But like these are the good shows. Lila and the Loop, Rosie Rules is really not that good. Which it's okay if there's nothing on. Like there's nothing else. Working Out Wombats,
That's
you
fine.
take it off as soon as it gets on. You just can't. And honestly, that's what they've done with the new Curious George. It's just that corny.
Oh,
and
Pogo,
cringy.
Puppet, something.
Oh,
and Pogo.
Jelly Bean and Pogo.
Jelly Bean, and Pogo.
Yes.
Well, it's
The
2
names
kids. It's
are
2
crazy.
kids and a dragon.
Yeah.
It's
the names-
Filipinos.
The Filipino.
It's not the song.
No, but it's like a super short show. but it's funny, it is sweet, the animation isn't great, but it's still good. And you can do that. They did it within 5 minutes. A good show. And so it's not like they can't. It's like they don't care. And they don't want to. It's very sad. I think it's a depressing episode. On the sad note. Actually, let's end it on a happy note. On a happy note.
Remember,
we can do better.
we can do better if you just
Blue
listen
is
to
the
us.
best.
The lists. Put care into your show. Stop forcing the agenda. And you're good. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Stop forcing the agenda. Oh, and make it something that you would want to watch.
Without
Adding anything inappropriate. If you would
how many shows did we watch growing up, and then we had to we wanted to rewatch it, and we're like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh,
Whoa.
Watch
That's
the
too
first episode and we'll give you a humongous list, but that's not the episode.
Exactly. So like, do something that if you were sitting down and watching,
You'd want
you
to
would
stay.
like. You would want to stay.
But it's
Even-
good for the kid.
This is one thing that I was talking about the biased. Remember that the show isn't made for you. I've heard people say, like, oh, the show's so cringy and the songs are ridiculous. And this is, first of all, for a younger child, it's not.
Second, why are you watching the show? Third,
No, but if you're watching it with, younger children, like, it's made for little kids. Stop being so biased. You're 30-something. Of course you're not going to like Pig plus Cat, but try to understand the child. And now that doesn't mean that children are stupid, but try to, like, act as if you're in their seat. Act as if I
would
saw
watch
this, oh, wait a second, why would they do that? And then if you saw that, you would laugh. Like, there's many times I'm like, that's ridiculous. But then my younger siblings will watch it, and they'll laugh their heads off. So it's about trying to understand their
kid.
age. And many times the shows are just...
Know your audience. That's why comedians
Know your
ask,
audience.
who's from Cincinnati? Right before they tell a joke.
What?
In the third Madagascar movie, he's like, who is from Cincinnati?
I don't remember that at
And
all.
then he got taken out.
That's funny. But, like, wait, they can't understand them. What's the point of asking?
Can we
Anyhow.
continue?
Act as if this is a show you would want to watch. Actually, Bluey.
It's appropriate.
You can make a show, and the show's perfect. It is perfect. Everyone watches Bluey. Even people without kids watch Bluey.
If
Bluey.
people who don't like it, who say they don't like it, they really like
I
it.
really like it. I know one specific person, but I won't name them. I'll tell you later.
Okay, cool. Like, it's just like value. We're not going to get into it. It's a different
We're not.
episode.
We're not.
And we
'cause
actually are supposed
it's
to end
just
it
such a
now.
great episode. I know.
So,
I like talking to these people.
yeah, you guys are cool. We like you guys as long as you like us. So remember, like,
You have to like the show.
if you like it, then like it. We put care into this. You better like it. We have some stuff in the background.
Subscribe, please.
Like, subscribe, hit the like button, like as I said. And remember, we'll be making more episodes more recently. We won't take forever to make it. Remember, God made you special. And he laughs a lot. Bye-bye.
You can't steal from VeggieTales, Joe.
We just said bye.
No, wait. No, just make it longer.
Bye-bye.
Bye.